Welcome back to Éxito in Minutes. I'm here with my co-host,
Alex Espinosa.
and we have a special guest today. Have you ever felt like in your life where you're like alone, or you're thinking to yourself, I want more out of life. I want more direction. I need clarity. I'm frustrated. What do I do? What's my next steps? Well, today, Annie's got the answers.
Okay.
Annie, present yourself.
I hope so. I have to have the answers.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ana Votruba, but you just can call me Annie if you want. I'm a life coach plus a human reader design, a human design reader. Just a moment, please, because my English is not so good, so I'm going to try it.
She's going to be great. She's going to do great. We're super excited. We just recorded the Spanish one.
Yep.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal. I just sat here and listened the whole time like, wow, this is such good information. So we hope you enjoy the English one as much as you do in the Spanish. So we encourage you to listen to the Spanish one first, and then the English one to help out on your English vocabulary. So Annie, tell us a little bit about your coaching. Tell us a little bit about what are the best practices that you've seen.
Okay. I'm going to talk first what's my different skill that I use in my sessions is that I have human design, like the base tool that I use in this space. I'm focused on helping the people to go to the root of their problems, to change that behavior so their results could be different. And I normally use human design in this part and coaching ontológico. I don't know how to say that in English.
How do you say that?
How do you say
I have no idea. That's
Okay.
a new word.
But it's
We're
like
gonna roll with
this
Spanish.
yes,
Probably
please.
we're right there.
Yes, please. But that are the tools that I use in my coaching sessions, and my point is only focused on the person. So like how do you say autoconocimiento?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
I love it because this framework she's referring to, right, is intentional,
Yep.
right? It's intentionally designing and utilizing a framework that's going to help you in self-discovery. And I love that. I love that aspect.
I'm gonna say in a spoiler here because I remember like the very first time. No, it was not the very first time. Probably the second or the third time that I talked to Annie, and she started to talk about some stuff that I didn't knew about me, and I was like, "What?" It is a funny example because Annie told me it's like probably you are the kind of person that loves to eat with all the lights on and many lighting at your house. It's like, yeah, that's me. How do you know that? It's like, and then she started to explain that to me. It was amazing. So actually it works. I was like, what kind of sorcery is this? Like, it was not, but it is really great when you get to know her. We're going to let all the info about Annie on the description of the video. You can call her, you can send her a text. It'll be great if you can receive this life coach in your life.
I want to talk a little bit, Annie, about, let's start with kids and
Okay.
parents, and then let's migrate into an office workspace.
Okay.
So throughout your coaching and life coaching, what have you found? Give us a couple examples with moms with kids or dads with kids and how you can help.
Okay, I'm going to use the example of Alex because I think like it's really common this part in our lives. When you have kids, you want them to be like the best. Okay, so you start thinking that the best thing for them is like when they get from school, they must have something to eat and then make their task. Okay, but then you notice that some kids they want to do like all the homeworks right away, but another they prefer like to play first and then do the homeworks.
Yeah.
And you say like, no, you need to do your homeworks first. So that's the first point. It's like we have like different, how do you say like we have, como funcionamos diferente?
We function differently.
Yes, we have different ways to do things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the first thing about human design. Human design respects that every single person is different. So what works for you is not going to work for me. And that's fine and that's good because that's for something that we need like to do something with light and some things maybe like in the afternoon. And we need to respect that first. And stop thinking that is an only way to do the things and that will be like successful for you because that's not true.
I love that because there's this application where we think there's a one way to be a parent,
Yeah.
and then we try to treat all of our kids the exact same way. I have 4 kids, 3 girls and a boy at the end, and you do not. One wants to be outside all day, one wants to read, one wants to. They're all different, right? And so your approach on, if I would have just done a cookie cutter, like you all have to do things a certain specific way, it doesn't work. You find out real fast it doesn't work.
And that you have like a big family, you can notice that even if the dinner, you can notice that some wants to eat like more meat and another wants to eat like meat with salad and another don't want to eat and another one wants to eat like maybe something just to drink. And then you can notice that we all have different ways to be.
Yeah, it's definitely points out the fact that everybody's individual, everybody's different. I think what's beautiful about your coaching is that you're taking that concept of how everybody's unique and then you're playing to their strengths.
Yes.
Right? And so when you're identifying, so let's give an example to the audience. If I'm a mom, what is a common thing that you end up coaching on? What's a best practice for a mom or a dad that's watching the kids? What's a practice that you give them?
Okay. The first thing is like to notice that when you want to be parent, you need to know that you see like your kids know of what they are because you can see them. You are going to see with your own lens.
Yeah.
So maybe the fears that you have or the thoughts that you have about your kids are maybe yours than your kids. That's the first like thing to be like clear in this part. And the second thing that I can talk to the parents is like have curiosity for your kids. It's like don't think like if my kids are good in math and not on science, they are going to be like bad people, okay? Or they are not going to be not bad people. They are not going to be like
Successful people.
Yeah, successful, or they can work on an office. That's not true, and that's like first thing, have curiosity about your kids, and then start thinking like, how can I help you to with your abilities like be what you want to be, not what I want. It's like, okay, how can I guide you in this life? It's not I need to teach you how to be. You already know. I need to be like this guy that I'm not going to set what you need to do, but I'm going to guide you in life with some norms,
Yeah.
okay, with some norms, but I'm going to help you in this life, not to teach you how to be.
I love that. And Nora's what she means is kind of like, think of a gutter, think of a road, right? You kind of have a gutter on one side and on the other side. And so what you're advocating is Annie is teaching us, right, with some parameters of like how to guide you down. But the parent themselves already knows what to do. You're just help guiding them using a framework.
And if you think like when we are child, it's like, okay, no one walk, okay? We just we just stay like looking the ceiling first when
when you're first born.
When we are first born. But then no one says like, okay, start rolling up.
Yeah.
Rolling up, do you say like, okay? And then start like, how do you say gatear?
Like start crawling.
Start crawling. And then you need to walk. Nobody said that.
Yeah.
So why? Yeah. Your natural, your
nature.
Your nature is to grow.
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes we forget that like our human's nature is to grow.
Yeah.
We are going to grow. And sometimes I think like we have some pressure to, okay, but grow right now. And it's like a process. And the process for everyone is different.
Or grow in this specific way. The only way to grow is this, because I learned this way. My mom told me, my dad told me, because my grandparents told them what to do, and we followed the same pattern.
Alex, have you done that? Like, have you copied your parent? Right?
The other day I was like, my girl came from school, and I was like, okay, first thing, you're gonna put your back there, then you're gonna wash your hands, then you're gonna come back, you're gonna eat your food, and then you're gonna make your bed. In that specific order, I was like, dude, I'm my mom.
Yeah, right?
I'm my
Instead of, and there's another concept where you could just be like, hey, your bedroom has to be clean before 3 p.m., and you need to eat before 3 p.m., have fun. Do whatever order you want, right? Like that's kind of like the difference, because some kids want the SOP. They want the process.
Yep.
They want to know what is my steps in order. And others are like, whoa, I want to be creative, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And sometimes, but when you have curiosity, you're going to take the time to know what's best for your kids. You know what's best for them, but just like stop thinking that is only one way to do it. That's, I think, something to keep in mind.
Well, I think it's also, like you said, the way we're programmed, right?
Yes.
We found success a certain way, so we want to duplicate it in a different area, and it doesn't work. I mean, I can certainly testify to that here in Ecuador, right?
Exactly.
Like things you do maybe in a different country do not necessarily apply here, and successful processes here don't necessarily apply in other countries. So let's take this into the workspace. Like, I was mentioning before we were talking a little bit, I was telling Annie, I feel like in any country, in any company, you can find people that aren't happy. And I think that if you're in that situation, Annie is somebody that can help you with that. But let's right now talk about that. Annie, if somebody's in a company, what do you usually find that's common when you're talking to people that work within a company when they're not happy?
Okay, when they are not happy, maybe the first thing is like they don't find like the sense to do what they are, or the purpose of what they are doing. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So if I'm doing this, but I don't know why I'm doing it, it's like, okay, so maybe it doesn't matter if I stop doing that. So I have this, so that's the first thing that I almost see in all the clients. Second, they are doing something that they don't like. And that's like the most common thing. We are doing a lot of things that we are supposed to do, but we don't like it. So if you are like completely honest with yourself and start thinking like, okay, what in my day, okay, in all the activities that I am doing, how many of them are because I think like I need to do them, and how many of them I'm enjoying to do that. And you're going to look at almost all of activities or all of the things that we do in like our day is like, we need to do this. Because if I don't work, I don't have money, and I don't have money, I'm not going to pay the things that I need to pay.
Even worse, they're going to feel trapped.
Yep.
Yes. So this to-do list is too big that it's we don't have any time to just, to be. We just need to do. And I think like that's the thing that is getting us so frustrated every single day.
So if somebody comes to you and they're in that situation, or right now if somebody's in the audience listening and they're thinking to themselves, okay, that's me. Like, so the first tool you're saying, the first thing is like create space to think through it.
Yes.
What else should they do?
Okay, and in the space to think about this is like maybe be alone.
Okay.
I really enjoy to people to stay alone, to maybe go to walk without AirPods or listen to any podcast. This, but any podcast. Okay.
Walk and listen to this, please.
But you
Don't
need to
walk.
time with yourself or by yourself. So you need to start thinking, okay, what I'm doing with my life? Do I want to stay in this job? This is something that I like, or if I have all the money in the world, what do I want to do? I think that's the perfect questions to start. It's like, if all my needs are covered. Okay, in what things I will want to spend my time.
And what do we do though if all their needs aren't covered, they think through it and they're like, I would like to do this. How do they bridge that? Currently, I'm in a job I don't like, and I want to this is where I want to be. Then how do you coach them to get there?
Okay, so then I go when like to encourage you to make this exercise. You're going to take like 3 or 5 people of your circle, maybe not so close. So you can take like a
Not your
friend.
mom and dad, no.
No, or mom or dad, just one. But then you can maybe ask your boss or like a coworker, okay? And you're going to ask them 3 questions. The first question that you're going to ask them is like, what do you think that are my abilities? So what do you think how do you say that?
Good at.
Good at, okay.
Yeah.
The second thing is like, okay, you ask me help for what? So then you're going to notice like, okay, the people.
So you're asking them, if I needed help, You're asking them, what would you ask me to help you with?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So okay,
cool.
in that way,
Okay.
it's like I think like you're good, like maybe to organize stuff, or maybe when I have a problem, I really want to know your opinion. So you are good about that. So that will give you like some perspective of, oh, okay, the people look at me that I'm good in these things. Okay, and the third thing is like, okay, what do you think are my defects or the things that I need to improve? Okay, with these questions, you are going to have like, okay, maybe if the people ask me my opinion, okay, maybe I can start thinking about coaching stuff, psychologies, or things that need to work with people. I'm not going to work by myself, because if the people enjoy my point of view, how can I give them more about this or more of this?
Alex, I was thinking of this as it applies to other companies, right? And one of the areas is if you went to somebody and they said, hey, if you were to ask for help, what would you ask me for? And they're like, oh, I would ask you every time I have a numbers and it's Excel, I always ask you. And they're like, oh, that's right. Well, then why aren't you in accounting? Right? Why are you on the technical side of the company? So I love that because it'll help you self-discover. And I think that's what you're talking about is you can help them discover what their strengths are and what they like to do.
Exactly.
And you got there's a level of humility there, right? Like
A lot.
how
And
humble.
curiosity too.
Well, I love that because curiosity is kind of the solution, I would say, to almost every application, right?
Exactly.
It's like if you're fighting a lot with somebody or somebody's very always hostile, be curious instead of fight back,
Yes.
right? But in this application where we're talking about, you're humble to say, hey, Alex, what am I not good at? Like, could you give me a list of what I'm not good at, right? Is that hard for you? Would that be hard for you to ask?
Well, you know what? The hardest thing for us is to be honest with ourselves and with others, because it's like, tell me about yourself. What are you good at? It's like, I don't know. Maybe I sing good. It's
we
like,
feel shame to just accept that we're crack in something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing.
And part of our culture as Ecuadorian people, we don't want to hurt anyone.
Yes.
It's like, if you are asking me what are the things that I need to improve, I'll be like, no, you are the very best at everything. But no, you are the very best at everything.
Why, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, that was like, it was an awkward conversation because we are not, and I was thinking about this idea because Annie said something that made me think, do I like to be alone with myself? Like, do I like to concentrate about my own thoughts, about my own voice, about my own feelings, meditate? Do I want to avoid that space? There's a reason why.
If you're trying to avoid it.
If I'm trying to avoid it. So when someone asks me about this, I probably won't be sincere and honest about the things that I'm going to say. So it's not an easy question, but I think that we need to change that mindset and start being honest to each other. It's like, if you're asking me, what are the things that I need to improve? Obviously, there are ways to say it. I won't be like, you suck at this and you are so bad at this and I don't want to be close to you, never again.
You want to focus, yeah.
You need to be very careful about what you said, being having empathy for others.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it, but being honest with the people.
But I think like the most difficult part is to accept what talents do we have. I think that's the difficult part, because maybe to think like, okay, I'm bad in this and in this and in this is easy. Because maybe our parents tell that every single day. Yeah, exactly. But it's difficult to notice, okay, I'm good in this part. And in my experience, in my personal experience, when I study my own human design, I only have one channel that is like almost all my energy is concentrated like in one channel that is called the judgment channel. When I started studying about this, it's like I noticed that these have like light and darkness. Like every single thing in life has light and darkness.
Yeah.
Okay. So the light of this channel is like, maybe my brain just start thinking, you can talk me about everything, and I'm going to start thinking like, okay, how can you do this like in a better way? How could you improve your process, your time? How you could do this better? Okay. But the dark side of this channel is like, I normally start like, okay, seeing the empty glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can start like thinking about
the
that.
negatives.
Okay. So when I discover my human design, it's like, how can I improve like my channel in my sessions? And the thing is like I have only one channel, so I can't lose in this energy. And it's like I'm really good enough to notice how you can improve yourself to be the best way of your authenticity.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you do better? Know the social standards. It's like by yourself. And it's like I use my channel in this part. So when we know better about ourselves, we can like give to others a lot of better things.
I think that's why you probably are advocating everybody should meditate, right? Because you got to get to know yourself. And you're saying if you get to know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, then you're more authentic, right?
Exactly.
And when you're more authentic to yourself, then that's the discovery part, and that's going to help you on your pathway forward. So now I come to you, Annie, and I say, Alex is good at this. He's horrible at this. I'm good at this. I'm not good at this. Now what do I do?
Okay. Then my second question is, what do you want in life? Because I'm a coach, so I'm going to take you to that point, but I need to know what's the point that you want to get.
Well, what about you? What was it like for you starting your own business? Like, what was that like? I mean, if I was coaching you, right? I'm just turning it around.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want? What did you want?
I want peace.
Okay.
So that was like my goal, and from 5 years now, that's my goal in life, to feel in peace. Okay. So that I need to be honest with myself, and I start thinking like, okay, I'm in this. In that time, I work in like a telecommunication. Do you say company?
Yeah.
And to be honest, in that point, I have zero peace. I really am pissed off. I was pissed off. I don't have peace.
You have peace.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to change that. That was like the first part. So I decided like, okay, what do I want to do? And then I start thinking like, I really enjoy to give sessions of coaching. I really like this, enjoy this one-on-one. So I did make the difficult decision. It was difficult and not logical. It wasn't made like step by step. I just quit my job and start my own business, okay? But remember that my purpose was to be in peace. Do you say be in peace?
Have peace.
Have peace. Okay, to have peace. So have peace, no money. It's like a really important difference that I'm going to make in this part because, okay, so I need to take a lot of time to my business start like growing. So I need to make another things to live. And I was okay with that because I really enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
So in that time, I work in everything that you can imagine, but if the work give me peace too. So I really enjoy like the customer service.
Yeah.
So if someone asks me to do that, I'm going to do that until my work or my company start growing. Okay. So that's why that's something that I decide to have in my life, or my purpose is to be or to have peace.
Okay, so I love this. She gave us a tool, and then she told us how she used that exact tool in her life. She's in a job. There's two ways to do that. You could just quit like she did.
No.
Or,
or
start building it while you continue to work, right? And so and in her situation, I love where she's saying, okay, I want to achieve peace, and the way I'm going to achieve peace is to own my own company. And then now that I'm going to own my own company, I'm going to have to take other jobs along the way while I build my company. So you can imagine now if you're in a situation where you're like, I want to go change a job, I want to change career, I don't know how to get from where I'm at to there. She's done it, right?
Exactly.
And so she can help you, coach you with that tool set that she's going to present with you. But I love that you were able to move along. I think it's probably for another podcast, but was it easy?
No way.
Yeah.
It's not easy right now neither. Because I'm going to explain this part. When I decide to quit my job, I just have like 150 hours of coaching. And it will sound like a lot, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not a lot because no one knows me. So the point is like in my family, we don't have any coach, famous coach or psychologist or anything about that. So I'm start building my business from zero. So my name in this coaching area, it was like no one knows me. So it was not easy. And right now I have like more than 1,000 hours. And right now it's like, okay, my coaching sessions, my one-on-one is doing great. But okay, I'm start to open service for companies. and it's to start like zero again.
Oh yeah, you're all over again.
Yes.
You start it again.
And it's like no one knows me in that side. So I think like to have a company is really to work in your nervous system, because you're always going to have like something new to achieve, and it's going to be like a lot of frustration in the process, and to start from scratch or zero a lot of times.
Yeah. And if somebody's doing that right now, what would you tell them? How can they have peace? How can they control you? You mentioned their nervous system, their behavior, I'm not quite sure how to describe that, but what would you tell them to do?
Okay, if you have like the money, you need to invest in yourself. So invest in sessions that will help you to know more about yourself. Because if you don't know who you are or what you want, it's like, if you don't know, I don't know how to say this in English, but if you don't, Spanglish. If you don't know a dónde quieres llegar.
Yeah, where you want to go.
You can take every bus.
Yeah, okay. True.
It's like no matter.
Any bus will take you.
Yes.
Because you don't know where you don't know where you want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, or
but
ride.
if you have like, okay, I want to have this kind of life, or I want like my family to be like this, or I want my days to have this time. Okay, so you need to know that.
So you describe what's the destination.
Yes.
And what exactly does it look like, and then you help them get to where their current state is to their future state.
And
take time to know the destination that you want.
I love something that you said, because you said you have to invest in yourself. And I think that the best investment you can do yourself. And some of our audience may be thinking, it's like, no, I don't have money to invest in myself. There are
But they're listening to the podcast.
Then yeah, that's one way. You can use time meditating. You can take some time and go and run and walk. And while you're going there, please listen to our podcast. That would be awesome. But invest in yourself. It will take the best profit out of yourself. So please do it. Find a way to do it. Call Annie. She will guide you to get there. So if you cannot find an easy way to do it, just start with something simple. Start reading a book, maybe do a small walk for 20 minutes, set a goal, and start investing in yourself.
And right now we have like a lot of things that are free, so we can have the information that we need.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't have the money to go to a therapist or a coach, it's like, okay, you can invest your time, and that's the most difficult part. I always hear like, I don't have time. It's like, that's bullshit. It's like, the point is like, in which things are you giving that time? Or we always have time for everyone, but not for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's like...
you can make time for what's important to you.
Yes.
You know, when you look at your life and you're stagnant and you want to go somewhere else, I love that you're investing in yourself. Another way of saying it too is just preparing. When you're prepared person, when they meet opportunity, excels. And so the idea is, if you're currently in a department and you want to be in the graphics department, then you better be studying, because there's so many free resources that you can get on there and study everything there is to know. You can chat GPT it. What do I need to know to be a social media manager? And then once you chat GPT it, it'll give me an outline of 3 months how to prepare. It'll give you a 3-month outline how to prepare. And so utilize and leverage tools and self-invest in your own time, and set up an atomic habit daily to study in those areas. If you have the resources, then call Annie.
Yeah.
but the problem is like, we think like we need like some information or to have education of how to be like a social media manager, okay?
Yeah.
But we never ask ourselves how to be humans and how to live or start living like the way we want. And it's like, that's why we don't have time to invest in ourselves, because we are investing our time in, okay, doing our work, or have money or these stuff. But we never start from the basics. Like, okay, how do I want to my life looks like?
And I love, she gave an example in the Spanish one, so I want you to give it again. When you have a customer, or client, I should say, and they come to you and they're like, oh, I just can't wait for the weekend. They're always just talking about the weekend. What did you tell us in the Spanish one? I love
it's
this
like, okay,
version.
If you have this situation, it's like, okay, stop doing things that distracts you from the important things. Sometimes we start like, go to parties, drunk, or start or try to be with a lot of friends. So we Or maybe see Netflix, like watch
Yeah,
Netflix.
live on Netflix for 3
Yes,
days.
3
Binge
days.
watch all weekend.
Exactly, thanks. But it's like, okay, from where you're trying to get up, or how do you say escape?
Yeah,
Yes?
if you're trying to escape.
Okay, that's the question. Is like, why you are taking 3 days of your life to just like exist?
Yeah.
You are not doing anything by yourself. So what's in your life? What are your hobbies? What's the time that you have to be with you? What are the things that are important for you in life? So you're start thinking like, okay, I want to be on Friday so I can go to my bed and start looking Netflix. It's like, maybe it's time for you to think like job should be like a part of your life. It should not be your life. And it's like the time goes so fast here. Like if you're not enjoying all the days of your life, and with this is, I don't think like life is like color rosa.
Yeah, it's like all rose-colored
Yes,
glasses, right?
I don't
like
think
everything's
that.
perfect.
But it's like almost, maybe if my purpose is to have peace, I have problems too. But I try to resolve them in this way. Like, okay, which will problem or which will solution will continue with my peace, okay? So you need to have a purpose, and a purpose for me and what I teach to my clients is not something that you do, it's something that you want to be in the process. It's really difficult because it's really different because maybe I can have coaching or I can have like a dinner with my family. Is what I want to be in every single day of my life, not what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
It's different perspective.
I can understand something right now from what you said. Is like probably on the weekends we're trying to escape from our problems, but we won't escape because on Monday they'll be there again. So we can use our time wisely and find a way to solve things instead of, putting in a position. It's like I'm trying to survive this life. No, I'm trying to live this life, which is a different concept. So using our time wisely, I think that's amazing. You can read a book, you can find solution, you can talk to other people. It's, hey, I am having this issue. Have you ever experienced something like this? Like, yeah, how did you solve it? I did this, I went through this, I tried this. Thank you. And now I can go and rest because I have a solution before I go to sleep or something.
And the tip that is, the problem is never outside yourself.
Yeah.
Never. The problem will never be your job, your wife, your kids. Never. The problem always are the way that we see a situation, and the important question that we need to ask ourselves is like, okay, what are my actions right now that, how do you say this part? Like, ¿cuáles son mis acciones que me están llevando a este resultado?
Yeah, what are the actions I'm doing right now that's giving me this result?
Okay, and if the result that I'm having, I don't like it, change the actions.
Yeah.
This is simple. It's like, it's not so difficult, but we just like excuse ourselves. It's so difficult because I have this job, and okay, you don't like your job. How can you make it better? You can change the job. Can you change some activities? Can you maybe hire another person? Can you maybe talk with your boss and have like some new dynamics? But you always have the chance to choose different.
I love one of the things that what we're talking about, Annie was saying is like a different dynamic she's referring to is sometimes people, bosses just know, hey, 9 to 5, you need to be here 9 to 5. And one of the awesome tips she gave us is go have a one-on-one discussion with whoever your boss is and say, hey, I'm a really more creative person if I have free reign. I would like to be results focused. I'll get my hours in and I'll work, but just let me work when I want to work. I like to work at 6 a.m. till 9, and then I like to take a break, and then I'm going to crush it from noon until 6, right? And just allowing sometimes your employees, or if you're the person that's looking for that, talking to your boss and allowing that freedom and that liberty will bring more peace into your life. And that's without even changing jobs. I think intentionally living, right, of going back and just saying, hey, I'm going to focus in on, I'm always exhausted when I get to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what do I need to change in my life that's giving me that result, like she's saying, and I want to change that result, and I want to not be exhausted and living for the weekends. I want to have fun on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, right?
Exactly.
Now, what do I need to do?
Exactly. And the other thing that is important is like sometimes we want like to be from 0 to 100, okay? No.
Of course. Tomorrow I want to be successful.
Yes, exactly. No, it's like this is like small steps, like baby steps. So maybe if you are frustrated in your job, it's like, okay, one thing a small thing that you can start improving in your day that will change that. Maybe it's like, for me, it's a cup of coffee, but maybe you can tell like what will help you in that time. So baby steps, don't try to, okay, tomorrow I'm going to just quit my job and start all over again. And I'm going to feel like happy every single day. That's not true. So make like small changes so you will work in your self-esteem. And in that way, you're going to prove yourself what are you capable to, or what, en qué eres capaz de hacer.
Yeah, what you're capable of.
So you are going to make some different actions so you like believe me in yourself, you're going to have different results.
Yes.
The moment you change like a little bit of something, you're going to have like a different result.
I love if we could all focus in on that, because a lot of people say, there's a saying, right? The grass is greener on the other side,
yes.
right? And everybody gets to their side. And I think you said in the last podcast, right, Alex, that you're like, if you have a certain specific problem in your work right now, and if you leave the company and go to another one, you're going to have the same problem again.
All over
it's that
again.
concept of
always.
I had this opportunity to hire a bunch of people, and somebody would come and say, well, what's it like working here? I'm like, what was it like working at your last job? Oh, it was awesome. Everybody was super excited. They had so much fun. We went on events on the weekends, lots of communication. I'm like, it's the same here.
Yeah.
But then if they say, oh, my last job, oh, everybody's chismoso, everybody's this, everybody, well, you're going to find the same thing here, right? Exactly. Like it's whatever you think mentally that you want to find, you can find.
Yes, and it's like una frase que me gusta. You're going to translate this part.
Yeah.
Es, no vemos el mundo por lo que es.
We don't look at the world for what it is.
Vemos el mundo por lo que somos.
We look at the world for how we are.
Yes.
Right?
And that's the point. Is
who
like,
we are.
Yes.
Or who we are.
Who we are. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks. That's like to close that idea that you have.
I love it. Oh my gosh, our time went like this. Alex, any last thoughts? And then we're going to go to Annie for the very last thought.
Well, if you want to know more about yourself and how to deal about everything that's been frustrating you about your job, the position where you are right now, and all that stuff. And if you want to change, if you actually want to really change from the inside out, call Annie. We're gonna let all her information below the description of the video. Is actually amazing. She's really great, and I've had a lot of aha moments while we were talking right here, and I'm gonna apply a lot of things. My job is actually, it's been really great to have you here, Annie. Thank you for all the things that you shared with us.
Thank you for the invitations and this English version.
Yes.
But if I want you to keep in mind something that is important to me in my own life is like first to recognize that we are different, and that's like the magic of the life. It's like we all work different, and that's important to maintain in that way. And the second thing that is important to me is like we always can choose different. And sometimes we think like our life will be or will stay in this way. And it's like, no, you have the power to choose different. And if you yesterday have made a decision that you don't like today the result, okay, just change. Right now and right away, you can make that change.
Yeah. And that change will bring you peace.
Yes.
And happiness.
And hopefully like a better word, because if you are like you have peace in your life, you're going to give that to your family and your friends.
It's contagious.
Yes, exactly.
It's contagious. Annie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks
You've been amazing.
a lot for this invitation.
And audience, thanks for being here again. We're grateful you came back, and we invite you to come back every week to listen to more. So thanks for being here, and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.